everybody. This is Allison with a quick screencast about how to build a Google Jamboard for use in collaborative problem solving. I teach chemistry and physics, and I love using Google Jamboards as a way to allow students to work together in problem solving. In a way, it allows them to be the teachers and the students at the same time. So they work together on a set of problems, and I am following along on my own device and nudging them here and there or giving them positive feedback depending on how that problem solving session is going. All right, I like Google Jamboards because I feel they're pretty easy to use. They work really well with the Chromebooks, particularly with the stylus. So for me, it's been a really good digital tool. All right, now to access Google Jamboard, you have a couple choices. You could bookmark it like I have up on my upper bar. I use it a lot, so I have it here. You can also find it through the dots. So if you scroll down, you should be able to find Jamboard. And if not, you can just type it in the search bar here and find it that way. Any of those three ways will do it. All right. Once you're on this page, you can see I have a lot of Jamboards already up for my recent jams. But if you want to build a new one, you're going to look in the lower right corner for this plus sign that says New Jam when you hover over it. So you click that, and it's going to open up a blank Jamboard. It's untitled, so you can type in, I'll call this the Screencast example. Right? The one drawback, it's not really a drawback. The one problem with Jamboards is it doesn't allow you to move this initial one into a particular folder. You'll have to do that from Google Drive. All right, but we can talk about that a little bit at the end. All right, so I have this blank Jamboard. If I want to have additional frames, I click the arrow, and you can see now I have 2 of 2. I can do a third one. If I want to move between, I can jump back and forth between the different boards depending on what I'm trying to do. I can also duplicate a particular board, or I can delete one if I don't need them. So I'm going to delete these 2 and just have the 1. Here we go. Now, for putting a problem on here, you have a couple choices. All right. You can put a text box right on the screen and you can type it in, problem number 1. Oops. Sorry, excuse my spelling. Maybe. Well, I guess it's just going to stay because it's having difficulty today. And then you can move it around. All right, let's say, for example, you spelled it wrong and you want to delete it. You can delete it. All right, you can also insert pictures if you like by looking at your files. So let's see, we'll just go to Google Images and pick something. Let's say a beaker. All right, so I could drop the beaker right onto my Jamboard by hitting insert. And once it's there, I can size it. I can tilt it if I wanted to. I can change the sizing here. Or if I decide it's not what I want, I can delete it. Or if I need more than one, I can duplicate it. All right, I'm going to delete this one. All right, you can also put sticky notes on here. This is most helpful when you're critiquing or helping your students. So I'll do this often when I'm looking at the problems. I'll put a little tab that says good job. There are also a couple stickers. Let me slide this over here. All right. Oh, they're not. Oh, that's on my iPad. I'm sorry. This sticky mark, this is really the best way to give feedback outside of just writing. All right. Now, when I build Jamboards, I actually like to set the problem in the background. All right. The reason for this is if they accidentally hit clear frame, it doesn't also erase the problem or any other images that I have put into that problem. It only erases the work that they have done on that board. All right. For the background, you have choices of colors, or you have this image option. All right. And if you select image, you can drop any image that you want into the background of your Jamboard. All right. That can be a picture, or if you're like me, you can actually type your problem up elsewhere, turn it into a picture, and drop it in. So how do you do that? The easiest way that I have found is to use another Google program that's called Google Drawings. All right, so you can see that I have that bookmarked here as well, but let's say you don't have that bookmarked, you can search that one up too. And go to the Google Drawings option. All right, again, this is Screencast background. All right. Now you can see that the shape of the slide here is different than what we had over here. This is a wide screen as a Jamboard, whereas Google Drawings default is a 4:3. So the first thing I do is go to File, Page Setup, and I adjust it from the standard to the widescreen. All right, that's just going to let the background fit onto my Jamboard. From here, I use text. So let's say problem number 1, and let's just do a chemical reaction. 25 grams of HCl reacts with 25 grams of NaOH. What mass of salt is produced? Oops. Spell everything right, and that should be lowercase. Okay, so I'm going to widen this box so that it's all on one line. All right, you can also do formatting here. Let's say you like chewy, for example, and you want this to be a little bit bigger. All right, you can center it if you'd rather it be in the center. All right, you can have parts, part A, part B, part C. All right, you can also drop in some sort of figure. All right, so let's say I want a beaker here. I want them to show me what's happening at the particulate level. I can insert a beaker, just like this. All right. So you can set your problem up any way you want using Google Drawings and then take it to the Jamboard. All right. So how do we take it to the Jamboard? We need it to be a picture file. It can't just be a text file. So we go to File up underneath our file name and we go to Download and we slide over, and you can choose JPEG or PNG. Either will work. I tend to go with JPEG. All right, so it's going to download that and put it on this lower bar for me. All right, so let's say I'm finished with my drawing. Now I'm going to go back to Jamboard. All right, and I want to set the background. So I'm going to click Set Background, and I'm going to go to the Image option. And then it's going to ask me to select a file. Now, if I built my Google Drawing earlier and it's not currently present down below, then I'm going to go to Google Drive and find that file. If, however, I just made it, you can actually grab it, click on it, and drag it to the window and then drop it, and it will put it in from there. So that I tend to do that quite a bit. All right, so now you can see, here's the background of the slide. Problem 1, 25 grams of HCl reacts with 25 grams of NaOH. What is the mass of the salt produced? My picture's here. All right, the best thing is I can put things on here. So let's say I start working on this. Math stuff. All right, about the formulas and stuff. All right. If I decide I didn't like that work and I want to clear the frame and start over, when I click clear frame, the only thing that's going to disappear is this new addition. My problem and my beaker will remain. So see, and there it goes. So it just allows you to control what the students can remove from your slides. All right. So personally, I think using Google Drawings in conjunction with Jamboard is the best way to go, but it is by no means the only way to get your problem sets onto these Jamboards. All right. So now we finished our Jamboard. We're all set. You need to make sure you adjust the share settings. All right. So you go up to share, and right now it's marked as private only to me. To give your students access, we need to switch the general access from restricted to the district. And then we need to change the options from viewer to editor. All right. If you do not give the students edit options, then editing privileges, then they will not be able to do anything with the Jamboard. They'll just be able to read it. All right. Now to share it, you have a couple choices. You can copy the link here, drop that into the stream in Google Classroom and have the students work on one set of Jamboards. You can also attach it to an assignment that comes out of Google Classroom. If you do that, do not forget to make a copy for each student so that they each have access to the Jamboards. And then within their group, you can decide, does one own the Jamboard and share theirs with everybody else? or do they all work on their own individual boards? All right. But you have to change those share settings. All right. To save it or to duplicate it, you can go to the more actions dots. You can make a copy. All right. So let's say screencast example number 2. And now you see you can actually tell Google where to put it. So usually when I make a screencast or a Jamboard, I will make a copy and then put it where I want it. Okay. So again, in summary, Jamboards are a great way to allow the kids to collaborate. It does not have to be just mathematics. I mean, you can do all kinds of stuff. You can give them some sort of scientific phenomenon and ask them to put down their observations. It's any sort of activity where you want some collaboration among the students and you want to be able to access what they're doing in real time. Personally, I love the combination of Google Drawings with the Jamboard, but again, that is a personal preference. If you want to build your Jamboards just using the tools in the Jamboard program, that's perfectly fine. Just don't forget about the share options. That is really important if you want your students to have access. Okay? If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to chat.